And forgive my handwriting. Um, I'm writing with a sloppy pen. Plus, I'm losing patience. And not only that, but I really don't know if I want any. I really don't know if I want anyone to read what I write anymore. So I don't take that much time to make my writing look good anymore. Anyway, I've now been keeping a diary of my thoughts for 6 years now, since I went to ACT in San Francisco in 1983. There was a time I was into acting and thought that maybe I should keep a journal in case my acting life started going places. I would have quit writing an acting journal a long time ago, like in 1986, when I decided to try to live like a normal person, then become a writer of fiction, and possibly become, who knows, an army man or soldier or something. Anyway, my journal writing picked up when I saw so many coincidences occurring in the news that seemed to go perfectly with Bible prophecy, so I became excited and felt that I should definitely write down what I and my family were discovering in the Bible, making it look like the rapture was going to take place. The only problem was our whole theory about a rapture occurring soon hinged all on the idea of Reagan becoming the Antichrist. But now, now that he is leaving office tomorrow, everything that I felt was everything that fit so well is going to crumble. 8 years of hopeful expectation and 8 years of rapture theories will dissolve into nothingness tomorrow. Everything I wrote about, everything will have been for nothing. Will have been nothing. I never really had anything interesting to write about after all tomorrow. The 22nd. Well, actually the 20th. That's when he came in. Anyway, now I know God never really revealed anything to us except the theory that eventually everyone is going to be saved someday, and that Christians will become demon-possessed at the rapture. I don't have anything to say, so when I write in this journal, on this videotape, it will be very rarely, because I usually have nothing to say, and life is so damn boring. Over and out. These are January 24th, 1989, Thursday afternoon. Believe it or not, even though Reagan is now out of office, my parents don't seem to be that depressed. I think it might even be the opposite. In a way, it's kind of like a big weight lifted off my shoulders, and even though I now believe the rapture is not for my generation after all, because certain things had to fit that only fitted for our time and then didn't work out, so forget that. I seem to have discovered a sense of freedom, actually. A feeling of living again. I think I'm now beginning to see why God never allowed anyone to read my booklets about fun with Bible prophecy. The reason is because, well, when you always think the rapture is imminent, it's like being on drugs, I believe. You just don't have much desire to do anything, especially when everything is so absurdly dull to begin with. Now that Reagan is out of office, it has totally destroyed our theories. No other world leader who exists now fits the AC, and because of that, that gives me and my family a feeling that the rapture won't take place. So, finally, I can get on with I'm doing very poorly with becoming a teacher. I got a D minus in my stupid computer class, so I'm going to find out about Sacramento's police academy and maybe become a cop. If I were a policeman, I might even end up with something to write about. And now that Reagan's gone, I can live. I now I now know where reality is. It's here, on Earth. Reality is where it's at. To better one's self, that's what life's about. No more procrastination and waiting for Godot. Um, no more bumhood for me. And if, say, 50 years from now, there is a leader who fits all the symbols Reagan fit, or more, if he's the seventh and of the eighth, that sort of thing. Uh, yep. Oh yeah. And this is what I'll say. It sure looks like the rapture, all right, but that will be it. I'll actually. I was actually very miserable being into Bible prophecy and watching rapture dates come and go. It made me think God was a jokester for making it look like Reagan was the AC. But even though I wasted 8 years away studying and discussing Bible prophecy, I think I might even be a better person from it, believe it or not. I really don't think I'm really half as gullible as I used to be. That's one thing. Oh well. So now I have to watch my grandparents and parents die, and even myself. Big deal. Big deal. It happens and has happened to everyone, and probably will continue until they find the cure for the aging process. So my great grandchildren should be happy. As long as God is entertained by life and death, I guess that is all that really counts. Anyway. I really don't blame God for not wanting the rapture to take place, because once it does, drama has to end 107 years after. And boy, how dull for God when there is no more sin, sickness, and death. Or death. Because you can't have drama without them. Can't have a good Newton story without the Black Mutant, or some other problem that's bothering Newton. It's very dull. Really dull. There aren't any problems. So, I mean, once the rapture takes place, 107 more years of drama of sin, sickness, and death, and no more drama for God. Anyway, I'm going to try to live and work in this world now. Attract a pretty girl that I can devote my time and attention to, have maybe 2 kids, and realize that that is what God really wants, since that's what the Bible seems to be about. Being saved, have kids, watch them grow up, all that sort of stuff. Maybe grow up, I don't know. Then again, there's some that die. Oh, who knows. Anyway. To be fruitful and multiply and produce more puppets of pleasure for him. And if I get blasted as a cop and all that goes into non-existence, well, that's fine too. Anyway, I'm still here in Susanville and have been since Wednesday. Thursday I'm going to find out about the police academy in Sacramento and see also if there is any reason to stick to trying to get my teaching credential. Being a cop actually sounds more exciting than the other route. I think I'll have more time to write as a cop. Maybe. Over now. January 29th, 1989, Sunday afternoon. I'm going to turn this off. This is distracting me. Grandma took me and my brother to Oli Frijoles, Yesterday, my brother and I were in Modesto visiting our grandparents and getting citrus. Uncle Gerald seems a lot better. I mean, he seems normal. He has no desire to work, but he does seem normal. Believe it or not, I'm trying to lose weight. I think I actually reached 195 pounds in Susanville, but I don't look that great. I saw a picture of myself at 185 pounds. I saw pictures of myself at 185 pounds, and I looked like a meatball head. So I'm going to lose as much weight as I can. Actually, I'll keep on losing to the point where I lose my meatball head. I look like a meatball head, a Gorbachev head with hair. 2 days ago, I videotaped myself in my underwear to see what I looked like at 190, and I looked like a repulsive stuffed sausage with fur. It was really gross. It was gross. For some reason, Satan must have tricked me into developing myself, giving me the illusion of looking good. Then, when I hit the 190-pound mark, uh, making me see what I really look like. It was like opening my eyes at 190 pounds, blinding me up to getting gross, 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 but thinking I look good, and all of a sudden, wham, hey, my eyes are open and I'm repulsive. I sure hope and pray that I haven't ruined myself. Anyway, Dad called us Friday night while my brother and I were in Modesto and told us that there might not be a hell, but then today he said he was wrong, but that one can lose one's salvation. Or something like that. As he talked, I just sat back feeling numb. I think I have had it up to my neck with theology. If God's going to damn me, he's going to damn me. Anyway, Chris Adams called last night, and we talked on the phone for about an hour and a half. Grandma listened in on our conversation, making me feel uncomfortable, and she became frightened when she heard us talking about Chris and her past. Chris told me that her brother was murdered by one of her boyfriends at 17 when Chris was about 1, and Grandma freaked out when she discovered me talking sex with Chris, warning Chris to not have sex with boys in this day and age of AIDS, being that I heard on the news yesterday that it's believed that by 1992, 100 million people will have been exposed to AIDS. Chris told me that she has a reputation for being an easy lay. Grandma knows that now and is begging me to break off my relationship with her. Anyway, I guess I'll have to if I'm going to be living here. I don't want Grandma and my parents worrying about me getting AIDS or other problems. Rick Nixon came down yesterday. He didn't say much. Wednesday, my brother and I stopped off in Chico to see Eddie and his mother Peggy and Eddie Clary. It was good timing because it was Peggy's birthday. Peggy hadn't changed much, and Eddie, thank God, wasn't skinny or dying of AIDS. He still has a beard, but doesn't seem to be gay anymore. He didn't sound like a woman when he was talking. I took it as an answer to prayer. They both seemed happy to see us. Eddie's sister Dorothy came over with her 2 kids. Dory, her nickname, was really pretty back in 1974, but, well, she's still somewhat pretty now. We had a good time talking about the past and other things. Eddie doesn't seem so crazy about Star Trek anymore. I think he's finally getting tired of it, and he hasn't written any more of the Newton either. I really don't know what his interests are. After that, Kevin and I visited Myron and family, and came back home after eating pizza. I don't know if this is true or not, but I think Myron and family are getting tired of Christianity and are getting more interested in Hinduism and reincarnation. Oh well. Anyway, Oh, Myron thinks you can read anything into the Bible and get any type of religion out of it. In my conversation with Chris Adams last night, she said the same thing. Even my brother seems to be getting tired of Christianity. I would too, but I'm afraid I might go to hell for it if I gave it up, so I'll stick with it. One good thing about trying to follow and believe the Bible, although life may become excruciatingly dull, which it is, from not doing anything, as a Christian, you won't get AIDS through sex or get trapped with a girl and her crazy family. Over now to Bruce Ramsey. February 3rd, 1989, Friday, rainy afternoon. What I'm about to write about are the titles of the best of Newton, stories that I think are the best now. From Book 1, okay, this is from Book 1. The Romulans have left. How, Commander, how is number 2. Number 3, I'm turning into a corn cob. 4, Newton attacks. 5, unbalanced horror. 6, Newton destroys. 7, a plot to get Newton. 8, Zintar the Great, Part 1. 9, Zintar versus Newton, Part 2. 10, Awakened. 11, The Little Mechanical Attack. Death Planet. Venus's Flytrap. Newton's Reign. Newton Goes to Ice Planet. Destination Earth. The Search for Newton's Last Crew. Newton versus Callisto. The Ancient Evil Spirit. Newton Space Station. The Terrible Black Mutant. Operation Space Station. A Small, Small World. The Dimension. Quetzalcoatl's Revenge, Part 3. The Strange Planet, and Newton's Last Labor. February 7th, 1989, Tuesday night. I'm writing to just write anything. Believe it or not, for the past week I have been taping the old Newton. I have been retaping them by reading them, because I felt what I did back in 1983 and 1984 was embarrassing by acting them out. I'm taping the early Newton from the horrible Newton, including the incredibly bad Newton 1 and 2, to Newton's 18 Labors. Believe it or not, after rereading the horrible old Newton books, I discovered that the early Newton is very much like Punch and Judy. I just looked up Punch and Judy in the encyclopedia and discovered that the similarities between early Newton and Punch and Judy are quite alike. I don't find that as a compliment to Newton, but I found it to be interesting. Funny thing though, I've never seen a Punch and Judy show except for brief scenes in my memory, except for brief scenes in movies. My mom took me to the old fairgrounds in Sacramento back in 1966, and we were going to see a Punch and Judy show, but after sitting around for it for about 2 hours waiting for it to start, we decided to go home. I remember the awful waiting and the deer with bloody velvet antlers that really grossed me out. This deer, his antlers were growing out and was covered with velvet and blood and garb, just grossed me out. Kevin was touching it to gross me out and just really grossed me out. I just cringed at the velvet on its antlers there. I got even more grossed out when Kevin started touching its antlers, that's right. Gosh, it grossed me out. I didn't know that it was growing antlers. I just thought that it was diseased. Anyway, I have just finished writing a couple of Newton stories. One was called Planet of the Bros, which was stupid and long, plus Planet of the Geeks, which was fair as far as Newton stories go. Right now, I'm contemplating writing another Newton book, a sequel to Newton as a Man, but I don't know if I want to start it. I think it will be the saddest Newton story that I've ever written. The one that I'm also thinking of writing is called Newton versus the Walk-Ins, which I'm thinking of putting a lot of humor into. It will also be carrying a moral with it, which says, quit living in fantasy and get on with life, because God is probably a dramatist and loves the human race to experience life on Earth with its birth, death, tragedy, etc. Be entertaining for God by having a family if you can. Then getting old and dying. Newton versus the Watkins, I feel, will be a very heavy attack on the person I was 2 years ago when I really wanted the rapture to occur. Anyway, nothing exciting is happening in my life at all. I'm hoping that I'll be accepted into the Sac City Unified School District um, teaching lattice program where I can work to become a teacher and to get paid on the way. Grandma definitely doesn't want me to be a cop. Too bad. Next week, and my parents will be coming down. I'm going to bring Chris Adams over to see what they think of her. Last Sunday, Kim Larson, a granddaughter of my grandma's friend, Mrs. DeGabriel, came over with my grandma's potluck group. Grandma invited her over, along with Katie Weichert, Amy Weichert's sister, because she thought they might be nice. They thought they might be a nice girl for me and my brother. Nice girls for me and my brother. Anyway, Katie is nice with a nice-looking body, but I don't know if I'd like her as a girlfriend. And Kim Larson, well, I like full-figured girls. I really do. But the thing that turned me off about her was, well, she's another I am woman, hear me roar type. She seems incredibly intellectual because she went to college, etc., and is going to college, and seems to be brainwashed either by her grandmother or by the university system that the USSR is a great place and that America is a place with problems now, etc. I think she's been reading someone else's propaganda. Anyway, I really doubted that she's I really doubt that she's interested in me. She seemed about as sexual as a neutered man and didn't seem that feminine. I don't know if I should have said that, but maybe it's just a phase she's going through. She's very, I'm woman, hear me roar. I think Kevin liked her, being that she was a socialist liberal type. I don't know. Maybe I've fallen into the capitalistic propaganda. I don't know. Who knows? Over now, Fritz Ramsey. Alright. February 11th, 1989. Saturday night. My parents came down last night. I think they are happy, even though they don't think the rapture will take place either. I don't think the rapture will take place for a long time. I say this because Daniel says that the Libyans and Ethiopians will be at the steps of the Antichrist. And to me, that means that Ethiopia will be holding some importance during the tribulation, because why did he mention it? And it certainly isn't that way now in this time. Anyway, I haven't been doing anything exciting with my life at all except writing Newton stories. I know they are lousy stories, but they seem to keep my mind off my bleak, boring existence. I don't know if I wrote this down, but I read an article in the Modesto Bee a few weeks ago that said that mothers contracted AIDS in Russia while breastfeeding their AIDS infants, which tells me that you can get AIDS from saliva. And from kissing.